Problem 17, 3 times x plus 5 plus 7x equals 35. First, I'm going to multiply 3 by the x plus 5 in the parentheses. That leaves you with 3 times x, which is 3x, plus 3 times 5, which is 15, plus 7x equals 35. Now I'm going to combine the like terms of x. 3 plus 7 is 10x, plus 15 equals 35. So I'll subtract 15 from each side, which will leave me 10x. 35 minus 15 is 20. To solve for x, I'm going to divide each side by 10. It will leave me with 20 divided by 10, which is 2. Problem 18, 4x minus x over 2 minus 3 equals 1 over 2. First, I'll free up the x by rewriting the problem like this. 4x minus x over 2 can be rewritten as 1 over 2x. I'm going to add 3 to each side. Give me 4x minus equals 1 over 2 plus 3 over 1. I'm going to want a common denominator of 2 since I'm adding fractions. So multiply 2 over 2. Three times 2 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. One plus 6 is 7 over 2. I'll want to combine my x values, and to do that I'm going to have a common denominator because I'll be subtracting fractions. So this is the same as saying 4 over 1, and I'll want 2 to be my common denominator. So multiply 2 over 2. That will leave me with 8 over 2x minus 1 over 2x equals 7 over 2. 8 minus 1 is 7. So I'll have 7 over 2x equals 7 over 2. To solve for x, I'm going to take the reciprocal of 7 over 2 by each side. That is going to cancel out to give me x equals, again, my 2's will cancel out, my 7's will cancel out, leaving me with 1. Problem 19, 7 times x minus 11 minus 3x equals negative 53. I'm going to multiply 7 by each number in the parentheses. 7 times x is 7x minus, because that's what's in my parentheses, 7 times 11 is 77 minus 3x equals negative 53. Combining like terms of x, 7 minus 3 is 4x minus 77 equals negative 53. Add 77 to each side. You're left with 4x equals negative 53 plus 77 is 24. Now I'm going to solve for x by dividing each side by 4. 24 divided by 4 is 6. Problem 20, negative 2/3 times x minus 3 minus x equals 8. Again, I'll want to multiply negative 2 over 3 times each number in the parentheses. I have negative 2/3 times x is negative 2/3 x. I'll have minus, which is in the parentheses, negative 2/3 times 3. It's the same as saying 3 over 1 minus x. equals 8. Now the 3's will cancel out, leaving you with a negative 2 over 1, which is negative 2. Because we're subtracting a negative number, you know that you'll make that a positive or add that number because two negatives equal a positive. So rewriting it, I'll have negative 2/3 x plus 2 minus x equals 8. Subtract 2 from each side. Eight minus 2 is 6. Now because I'm dealing with subtracting fractions, I will need a common denominator. So I'm going to multiply 3 over 3 times x. So I'm left with negative 2/3 x minus 3 over 3x equals 6. Negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. So negative 5 over 3x equals 6. To solve for x, I'm going to take the reciprocal, which will be negative 3 over 5. I'm doing a negative so that my negative signs cancel out, leaving me with a positive x. So x will equal, it's the same as saying 6 over 1 times negative 3 over 5. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. 1 times 5 is 5. So my answer is x equals negative 18 over 5. Problem 21. 9x over 5 plus 2x equals 1. I'm going to rewrite this as 9 over 5x plus 2x. Since I'm adding a fraction, I'm going to need a common denominator of 5, so I'll take 5 over 5 times 2 over 1. So 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 1 is 5. 9 plus 10 is going to be 19 over 5. X equals 1. To solve for x, I'll take the reciprocal of 19 over 5, which is 5 over 19, and multiply that by each side. So all cancel out, leaving me with x. 1 times 5 over 19 is 519. Problem 22, 5x minus 12 plus x equals negative 13. There's no number in front of here, so you'll know that it's a 1. I think they're calling it a ghost number. You'll be taking negative 1 times each number in these parentheses because you're subtracting. So you're going to have negative 1 times 12 is negative 12. Negative 1 times x is negative x. So I'm going to subtract the x. Now, I think they give you a general rule where if you're subtracting a negative number, then whatever's in the parentheses, the sign gets reversed. This is why the sign gets reversed. I'm going to combine my like terms of x. This is the same as if you had a 1 in front of it. So 5 minus 1 is 4. So I'm left with 4x minus 12 equals negative 13. Add 12 to each side. Negative 13 plus 12 will be negative 1. Divide each side by 4 to solve for x. You're left with x equals negative 1/4. Problem 23, 2x plus 1 minus x over 4 equals 3. The first thing I would do is rewrite my problem. You can rewrite the 1 minus x over 4 as 1 over 4 minus x over 4. Subtract 1/4 from each side. That leaves me with 2x minus x over 4, 3 over 1 minus 1 over 4. I'm going to multiply 4 times this to get the common denominator of 4 since I'm dealing with subtracting fractions. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 1 is 4. Twelve minus 1 is 11 over 4. Now I'm going to take 4 over 4 times 2x to get a common denominator of 4 since again we're dealing with a subtraction of fractions. So 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. This is the same as if there were a 1 here. So 8 minus 1 is 7. Now to solve for x, I'm just going to take the reciprocal of 7 over 4, which is 4 over 7. Multiply that by each side. Your 4's will cancel out, your 7's will cancel out. That will leave you with x. Now over here, your 4's cancel out, which leaves you with 11 over 7. Problem 24. 4 times 2 times x plus 3 plus 7 minus 5x equals 61. All we're going to do is keep working from the innermost parentheses out. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 3 is 6. Just fill in the rest. 6 plus 7 is 13. So 2x plus 13 is what's in the brackets. Times 4 minus 5x equals 61. Now I can multiply 4 times each number. 4 times 2x will give me 8x. 4 times 13 is 52. Minus 5x equals 61. I'm going to subtract 52 from each side, which will leave me with 8x minus 5. 61 minus 52 equals 9. 8 minus 5 is 3. It's 9. To solve for x, just divide each side by 3. X equals 3. Problem 25. Brian and Jake left their homes, which are 500 miles apart, and drove straight towards each other. It took 4 hours for the two to meet. If Jake's speed was 15 miles per hour slower than Brian's speed, what was Brian's speed? You know speed is written in miles per hour. So we're going to have the speed of Jake plus the speed of Brian equals, this will be in miles per hour, and I want my final answer in miles per hour. The problem tells us they are 500 miles apart and it takes them 4 hours to meet. So miles per hour. Everything is going to have the suffix miles per hour, so I've got everything set up correctly. I need to figure out the speed of each individual. They're telling us Jake, his speed is going to be 15 miles per hour slower than Brian. So you'll have Jake equals Brian minus 15. The problem's asking us Brian's speed, so let's say Brian's speed is x because we'll be solving for x. If Brian equals x, we know that Jake equals Brian minus 15, so Jake will equal x minus 15. Back up here in our original problem, we're having Jake plus Brian equals 500 divided by 4. So up here instead of j, we'll say x minus 15. And now we're going to add Brian, and we're saying Brian is x equals 500 divided by 4. Since there's no coefficient of x, you know it's going to be 1. I'm just going to go ahead and combine my x's. So I have 1x plus 1x will give me 2x minus 15 equals 500 divided by 4, which is 125. So here's my equation. The way we set the problem up, we said that Brian's speed is going to be x, so all we have to do is solve for x, and that's going to give us Brian's speed. So let's just solve the equation. Add 15 to each side. So you have 2x equals 125 plus 15 is going to be 140. To solve for x, we just divide each side by 2. 140 divided by 2 is 70. So Brian is driving 70 miles per hour.